All right, friends, welcome to our hormone class. My name is Bethany Shipley, if I don't know you yet. It's nice to meet you, and welcome to our Zoom. So every week at the same time, same place, we have a Zoom call on a different topic, and tonight is all about hormones. Undoubtedly one of the most common things we get to talk about because everyone seems to have a problem, or for lack of a better word, or an issue or a symptom or something. And so we're going to start off tonight. I'm going to share my story. This is actually how I got into oils, all about the hormones. If you have any specific questions, put them in the comments and I will address them at the end. So yeah, I am just going to share my story, and then we'll talk about basics of oils, how to use them, hear some stories from other people who have regulated their hormones. So it was 7 years ago when I found out that I was pregnant with our first pregnancy. We were super surprised. I had been on a birth control pill because that's what I thought everyone did if they didn't want to get pregnant. But then my hormones went crazy after I got on that birth control pill. And I know I'm not alone because when I read the insert of like every birth control pill, what does it say? Weight gain, headaches, mood swings, all these issues. I just didn't know I didn't know. I thought, well, I don't know what to do. So I took it. And within 3 months, I was like, I got to do something different. This is not working out for me in my ideal life. Are the crickets too loud for you guys from my end? Should I shut my window? If they're too loud, let me know in the comments. Okay, good. No crickets. Okay. I have my window open because the weather is like absolutely beautiful. So within 3 months, got off, and then we, surprise, got pregnant. It was not intentional, but we were so excited, and we got our families together. I remember, I'll never forget telling our families, because it was the first grandchild on my family side, and then like we were the second kid on my husband's side. Got everybody together for a picture. We're like, hey, okay, ready, 1, 2, and then I was like, oh, by the way, I'm pregnant, and everyone was like, what? Snap the picture. So everyone was super excited. So I got through the first trimester. We were like, oh, this is so exciting. Went to our checkup, and they have this little, and I just want to go ahead and say trigger warning, mentions with miscarriage. So if that's where you're at, I'm so sorry, but I just want to warn you there. So the Doppler, they have this little machine where they put it on your abdomen and they start listening to your, to try to find the baby's heartbeat. And at that point, we should totally have heard the heartbeat, and the doctor couldn't find it. She's saying, sometimes it's just like positioning, so it's okay. And I'm like, yeah, it's probably totally fine. I'm super healthy, I eat right, I work out, I'm so healthy, should be no problem. So she said, well, let's go ahead and get an ultrasound scheduled to just check that everything's fine. We got the ultrasound scheduled for later that day. And it was totally shocking to find that the baby had no heartbeat. And I'll never forget walking out of that appointment with the most disappointment I've ever felt, because it was like I had to go back and tell my family that, like, by the way, no, never mind. I had to deal with the physical repercussions of figuring out labor and figuring out how to make this happen. I had to figure out why, like, my body failed, and until this point, I had never, and you guys are so sweet. I'm so seriously like, and I know this is like a 1 in 4 women type thing, so I know I'm not alone here. This story has been able to been shared with people and like literally change the trajectory of their family. And so if this can help you, oh my gosh, we'll talk about more than miscarriage, but like, I know there are so many people who've been through this. And so we walked out of the appointment, and I remember just thinking, like, I don't know what I'm supposed to learn here, but I know that out of every single crisis, there's room for there's opportunity for growth, and there's opportunity for change, and there's opportunity for meaning. And I don't know why, but I'm going to find that. And I remember walking down we lived in this really cute little downtown area. I was walking, just thinking and feeling and trying to make some decisions about how to move forward, surgery, pill, let it happen naturally, all that. And I just made that decision. Like, I'm going to look for whatever I'm supposed to learn here. It's sad. I don't like it, but I'm going to do that. Later that night, I went to volleyball practice where I was coaching a group of young junior high girls, and up walked a mom. It was early on in the season, and so I didn't know all the parents yet. And this mom walked up to me, and she said, hey, like, how are you connected to the team? Are you a mom or what? And I was like, well, no, I'm actually not a mom. And I just found out that I'm miscarrying. And I'm just like, literally, she met me there in that moment of just like complete devastation. And she said, I have been through this 8 times. And I want you to know that you're not alone. And you need to come over to our house tomorrow. And I will show, she's like, do you know anything about essential oils? And I was like, first of all, 8 times? I'm sorry, what? I did not even imagine that would be like emotionally possible. But wow. And yes, I'll come over. And no, I know nothing about essential oils. So this was 7 years ago. I thought literally when she said essential oils, I was like a big gallon of olive oil. Like, I don't know, like coconut oil. Like, I don't know. Oh gosh. And so I drove 45 minutes clear out in the middle of nowhere in her beautiful house, sat down at her kitchen table, and she plopped open this big book, and I started reading this. I mean, she was talking, and I'm not a good multitasker, so she was talking. I'm like skimming through this book, and I'm just thinking, this is so a scam. Like, this cannot be true. Like, as if essential oils could impact hormones. But I really liked her energy. I really liked her as a person. I thought she cared about me somehow. We just met, and I had told the clouds on my walk that, darn it, I would find opportunity. So I'm going to, feel this out. So she said, call in at 7 p.m. and listen to this class. So I was like, okay. So I called into this like freeconferencecall.com. Hello. Yeah. Okay. Just listening into this class. And this class, she started talking about how our world is set up for sick people, especially like in the American culture. It's set up for sick people. So that means that when there's a problem, when there's a symptom, when there's a diagnosis, what we do naturally is we go to fixing the symptom instead of looking at the root issue and looking at the root cause. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. I totally see that in my own life. I see people who have like a headache, and what do they want to do with the headache? They say, let's try a birth control pill. If you're getting a headache, let's try a birth control pill. That's not actually fixing the symptom, or that's like hopefully fixing the symptom, but it's not digging down to like, why is the person getting the headache, right? If someone gets eczema, what does our society want to do? And this is not a bash at all. It's just saying kind of how it is. People don't typically want to look at their diet when they're looking at a skin issue. People don't typically want to dig into figuring out what their body is reacting to. And so what I learned in that call was that when we have a symptom or when we have a diagnosis, it would be advantageous for us to think about how we can listen to our body instead of cover it up. And so I said, all right, well, my body's telling me something, and I didn't listen. Because when I started getting a period at 12 years old, I was on the floor crying. My mom took me to the emergency room thinking I had appendicitis, and I had a really like high pain tolerance. I didn't listen to the fact that that was a symptom. I just thought everybody has horrible periods. Everyone has hormone cycle. You see it in memes. Back then, memes wasn't a thing, but now you see it like, oh yeah, I'm just on my period, right? Like, it's just one of those days, as if that's the way we were designed to be. So when I realized, oh my gosh, I've been having like hormone symptoms since I was 12, since I started my period. And then now here we are. At that time, I was 21. So like here we are almost 10 years later, and I was still experiencing symptoms, meaning like my body wasn't able to follow through with a pregnancy because of inadequate progesterone. So what I started looking into was symptoms and the root causes. And I learned about this thing called estrogen dominance. Let me make sure I'm still on time here. Okay, good. I have 5 more minutes before I pass the baton. So estrogen dominance is this thing, these symptoms that happen when our bodies have too much estrogen in it. And so I'm going to read to you estrogen dominant symptoms right now. Here we go. I just Googled literally estrogen dominance, signs and symptoms of estrogen dominance, healthline.com. Here we go. Bloating, sweating, bloating, swelling and tenderness in breasts, fibrocystic lumps in your breast, decreased sex drive, irregular menstrual periods, increased symptoms of premenstrual PMS, mood swings, headaches, anxiety and panic attacks, weight gain, hair loss, cold hands or feet, trouble sleeping, sleepiness or fatigue, memory problems. Literally, I probably only qualified on paper for like 5 of those, one of the main ones being really horrible periods. But that it was very obvious that that was what I was going through. So why was my body estrogen dominant? What does that mean? There was too much estrogen in my body. I learned in that same phone call that there are toxins in our world. All the cars that are driving by my window, on our street right now, off-putting gas that mimic estrogen in the body. Gasoline, I love the smell of gasoline. Guess what? Estrogen mimicking. There are foods that we're eating that are estrogen mimicking, that are made in a lab, that are like out of a box type of food, not really food, but and that's not said with judgment. That's just like we all are like totally getting toxins. We're breathing it in air, in candles, in fragrances. We're lathering it on our body in lotions. We're putting it on our scalp in shampoo, conditioner. We're putting it on in shaving cream. We're putting it on in deodorant. Every single day, I was lathering my body or infiltrating my bloodstream with estrogen issues. So no wonder when I got pregnant, my progesterone wasn't able to keep up. So I started diving in and I thought, okay, there are things in this world we cannot control, right? I can't control the fact that there are cars driving by my window. I'm going to get exposure to the air quality that I live in. However, I can change out my shampoo. I can change out my conditioner. I can change out all the toxins in my home. So I started on this investigator hunt and I'm like, we're going to figure out what every single ingredient in my products are about. And here is a little, love this, hashtag preach girl. Here's a little hack for you to eliminate almost, I'm going to just say this is not scientific, or actually proven, but this is like my estimation. 90% of your estrogen containing products will be eliminated when you get rid of the products in your home that end in paraben. So you're going to look for ethyl paraben, methyl paraben, propyl paraben. There are like 4 parabens that I call the paraben sisters, and they are not fun and you do not want them in your home. And so if you detox your bathroom, and that is the one thing you do off of this call, and you get your bathroom spick and span and you detox it, meaning you're going to take the toxic products out and replace it with something awesome, that right there is going to be amazing. Now, paraben, let me make sure I say it right, paraben, P-A-R-A-B-E-N. There's also fragrance, that's paraffins. I just saw that, Lisa, that's a great note. A lot of fragrance will also be estrogen mimicking. So fragrance, anything that says fragrance in your products also, but paraben is what you're gonna wanna look for first. And I challenge you, do that tonight, just while you're before you go to bed, turn over your, let's do any lotion that you have. Just look at any lotion, if you use a moisturizer or whatever, look at that and see if you can find paraben. Okay, so where are we going from there? So there are things that we can't control. There are things that we can't control. And that's the first place that I started with getting my body healthy, is I was like, you know what? I want to do this thing naturally. I don't want to just cover it up. I don't want to just take medication. I want to live my best life. I want to create a life that I don't need a vacation from. And that includes feeling good every day. And that's including the week that I'm on my period. And that's including the week before my period. And that includes my relationship, my intimate relationship with my husband. All of those things are included. And so I'm going to do some work to figure out how I can help. And I'll just tell you that we've heard so many stories, hundreds of stories of women who have taken this journey and said, you know what, I'm going to take this seriously. And their the way they feel every day is so much better. So I'm pumped. And now I have 3 beautiful children. Actually, baby number 4 right here. I thought I was going to stand up and then my shirt got caught. So that was a little awkward. I was going to show you, but then I got pulled back down. So baby number 4, in all my pregnancies, I have struggled with creating adequate progesterone, but I have been able to find a progesterone supplement or help. Even this one where I was on progesterone shots, ended up using a supplement, that brought my progesterone up to normal levels and got to get off of all of my shots. So I just can't wait to share all of that with you. But before I do, I'm going to pass it on to my friend Sarah Gregory, who's going to share her story. You're going to love her. She's amazing, and you will definitely want to follow her on Instagram as well. So let's see if I can find her here. Oh, there she is. Woohoo!
Hello, everyone. Okay, I am so excited to be here. I just got like a little bit nervous, which is funny. Talking about hormones is one of my very, very, very favorite things, because this is the topic that changed my life, like forever. I would not be where I am without these crazy little bottles of plant juice that seem kind of like hippy dippy and weird. They're legit. So I'm just going to share with you a little bit of my story, and how I got to be where I am. So let's just start way back at the beginning. So even like before I started my period or anything like that, my mom was very open about her period, and she had a really awful time. She had terrible cramps. She had a really heavy flow, and she made sure to tell me that those things, if they happened to me, that was normal. And that if I felt like throwing up and dying the week of my period, that was just normal. And being a girl sucked, and there was just nothing we could do about it. And so I remember being like, this seems terrible. And as a mom now, I have 2 girls. That is a narrative that I absolutely reject. So if that is something that you have subscribed to, like a lot of our culture has, I'm glad you're here, because that does not have to be the case. So when I did end up starting my period, I have always been super, super irregular. Like I would go 3 or 4 months with just no period. And again, my mom was like, it's normal. Like some people just don't have them all the time. So I was like, okay, whatever, like not a big deal. And it wasn't until college actually that it like clicked in my brain that if I wanted to have kids someday, which I did, I've always wanted to be a mom, I should maybe figure out this whole period thing, because that's a necessity for having babies. That's how it works, right? So I went to the doctor, and I was not actively trying to conceive at that time. So they completely brushed me off. She didn't help me at all. Nothing. She told me that maybe I should try eating some more ice cream, and so I could gain a little weight, and that would help me have a regular period, which, what? So fast forward a couple years, I get married. We want to have babies. I want all the babies in the world. So I go back to a different doctor, and funnily enough, I got the same story, that I was probably just underweight. I should try eating some more ice cream, so that I can have a regular period. 2 different doctors. Who, in what medical book is this advice? Because it needs to be taken out. But so I was like, okay. So I went to another doctor a few months later, who finally listened to me. And I was like, okay, listen, I have this hair. I don't have period. Like, I'm pretty sure I have PCOS. Here's all my symptoms, that like, check them off the list. And he finally listened to me. We did a lot of blood work. I did thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars worth of blood work. And everything always came back normal. And I learned something after all of this garbage, but there is a range for blood work that is normal. And I was at like the lowest possible normal range. Normal does not mean functioning. Obviously, my body wasn't functioning. Not having a period for 90 days, not really normal, I would say. So I was sick of the runaround, and I really wanted to avoid fertility medication if possible. I had a cousin and a sister-in-law who had been through it, and I was like, I'd rather not. So I started doing some research. And one of my sweet friends was sharing about an experience that was very similar to Bethany's, about how she had gone through a miscarriage because she didn't have enough progesterone. And she talked about how she had ovarian cysts, which I had, and just all of these things started making sense. And she talked about how she used essential oils. And I was like, well, heck, I'll give it a whirl. So I did. I used 2 essential oils every single day, along with ditching the toxins like Bethany just talked about. Like, that is key. So I used something called Progestins Plus, which helped naturally regulate or support my progesterone levels. And then Endoflex, which was a help for my thyroid. And I use those religiously every single day. And something really fancy happened. So my cycles were regularly like 80 days to 90 days. And with using those oils religiously for like 3 months, I think it was, my cycle went from 90 days to 50 days. That's a whole month and a half shorter than they normally were. And I was absolutely shocked. And my period wasn't miserable. I didn't have terrible cramps. Like, it was just like fine. I felt fine. And I was like, well, this is amazing. So I kept using the oils because obviously they were working. And with my next cycle, I was actually able to conceive. And when I went in to see my doctor, I had just seen her like a few weeks earlier, and she had told me like, I'm really sorry. I don't know what we're going to do with you. So when I went back in for my 8-week appointment, she was shocked. She was like, wait a second. Were you not just in here and I told you that we weren't sure what we were going to do? And I was like, yes. Like I had figured it out myself, not myself, but like I had figured out that my body was designed to work with plants. I figured out that God did not design women to be miserable every single month. That contradicts who God is. Like, that doesn't make any sense. He would not make us to be miserable every month just because we're women. Nope. No. And I figured out that I can feel good, and I was able to have enough progesterone to support my pregnancy, and now I have a beautiful little baby. Her name's Ruby. She just turned 1 a few months ago. And just another little thing about hormones, after you give birth, you go a little bit whack because your hormones plummet after you deliver this human. And I use the 2 same oils to help me through my postpartum anxiety and depression. And let's just say I will never be without those 2 essential oils because they're life-changing. Okay, so now we are going to pass it on to my sweet friend, Elizabeth, and she's going to share with you her story of how her hormones got in check.
Awesome. Thank you, Sarah. Can everyone hear me? Like a thumbs up or something? Or a yes? Okay, awesome. Sweet. Well, obviously my name's Elizabeth. I turned 25 this week, which is not as exciting as it may sound to some of you, but I am a grad student and I am single, so I'm not coming from the mom or trying to conceive perspective of hormones. I'm coming from the trying not to have a miserable life because of hormones perspective. And I'm also going to throw in some of my mom's story with tiptoeing into menopause. That's the word. So I'll get 2 sides of the spectrum, kind of on the beginning and the ending side of the whole hormone life span. So from the very beginning, my story kind of resembles a lot of what Sarah was saying. You know, my period was never regular for the past more than 10 years that I've had it. I would go anywhere from like 40 to 80 days cycles. Like sometimes I'd have kind of a normal-ish cycle closer to 30 to 40 days. And then I would go months without a period. And I was an athlete in high school. So everyone was like, it's normal. You're an athlete, whatever, you're active. That's totally normal. And then I got into college and sat in class all day and was like, I'm not an athlete anymore. What's going on? Why? This shouldn't be normal. And so then I hit about 2.5 years ago, a really, really difficult season where I had a terrible depression, like extremely crippling anxiety. I was getting no sleep. I had hair loss, weight fluctuations, crazy mood swings that made me feel like a complete witch, for lack of better words. I had no energy. I had acne all over my face, and I'd always had really great skin. And so that was so frustrating. And again, my cycles was just not normal the entire time. And I was like, this is not normal. I feel insane. And so I went to a doctor because that's who we're supposed to trust with our health. So I did. And long story short, I went to 2 doctors plus blood work, plus 2 different types of birth control pills prescribed to me over the course of a year. And everything just got worse. It got better for like 2 months, and then all my symptoms just came back, were worse. And I was like, okay, if the doctor's not helping me, then I need to do my own research and figure out what the heck is wrong with me. So I started looking into the birth control pills I was taking, learning all about hormonal birth control and what synthetic hormones does to your body. If you're curious about this, send me a message and I'll give you resources I used to learn all this stuff about synthetic hormones and how it actually affects your body. But I'm not going to dig into that because it'll take up way too much time today. But I learned real quick that I did not want to be on birth control anymore. And again, I'm single, so I didn't have to worry about the whole not getting pregnant thing. So it was a very easy decision for me to come off of birth control. And then I had a roommate who was like, hey, I use Progestence Plus and it's amazing and you should look into it. And so that's when I bought my premium starter kit because I also wanted the supportive oils, and I added my Progestence Plus to that kit. Started taking Progestence Plus, guys. Literally the next month I started my period, like within 30 days, which was insane because that had never happened in my 10 plus years of having a period. And all of my symptoms just started falling off and decreasing and going away. Like literally everything I listed when I first started talking just started going away. And for the first time in my entire life, I had an actual normal cycle. What? Like, it just blows my mind still. A few months later, I decided to add EndoFlex to my routine after the results my mom got with EndoFlex, which I'll hit on in a minute. So my current protocol is 2 drops of Progestence Plus under the tongue morning and night when I brush my teeth. EndoFlex on my thyroid, on my adrenals, which are right above your kidneys on your back, and then on the inside of my ankles, because that is the vital flex point for your ovaries, I believe. The outside of your ankles, I think, is your uterus. I could get those switched, so I could be wrong in that. But anyway, that is how I use those oils to support my hormones. And now I'm going to hit real quick on my mom's story. Long story short, she was experiencing night sweats, hot flashes, which my family jokingly calls power surges. Take it or leave it. She had no energy, hormone-induced migraines, weight gain, mood swings, foggy brain, restless sleep, like had no sleep, was getting no sleep at night. And I had just started learning about Young Living, jumping in with my starter kit and my Progestence Plus. And I was like, Mom, maybe there's an oil that like you could use. So I looked it up, and everyone in our Facebook group, that if you sign up with someone in our team, you get to be a part of this phenomenal group. Or if you are already signed up, you're a part of it. I looked it up and everyone was recommending EndoFlex. So I got my mom EndoFlex, and literally within 2 weeks, she was experiencing no night sweats. And she used EndoFlex 2 times a day as well, in the morning and at night, like I did. And then she added Thyromin, and since doing that, 100% of her symptoms are gone. Her migraines are gone. She sleeps good at night. She's lost weight. She has energy back. She has no hot flashes or power surges. So anyway, that's just a short little snippet of how oils have helped her with peaking into menopause at that age. And something super important that my mom and I have both done that I feel like has played the biggest role for continuing to keep hormone supported and continuing to keep them regulated is removing all the toxins, like Bethany and Sarah mentioned. And not only in your skincare, but there are a lot of things in our food that contain endocrine disruptors. And so my mom more so, and me sort of, have been trying really hard to remove the things in our food that also disrupt our endocrine system, and just living a complete whole lifestyle, thinking about health and wellness from every perspective and looking at food as a supplement. And so anyway, that is all that I have. A couple of other Young Living products that I do use for support of some of the things that I had withdrawal and stuff from with all my symptoms. Like I had really bad hair loss. So to support my hair coming back, I use what we call the mermaid spray. It's rosemary, peppermint, and cedarwood, I think, mixed with witch hazel. And I spray it on my hair anytime I take a shower and it's clean. And that has helped my hair grow back. I use Young Living skincare products that have helped with my acne that I had, and also again, switching over to non-toxic. And then Ningxia Red, I cannot talk about more for overall vitality, health, and energy. Ningxia really helped me get my energy back when I was starting to regulate and get back on the train of having my hormones functioning the way they are supposed to function. And it has been, August was 1 year since I started using Progestins Plus and all that jazz, and I feel like a new person, and I feel completely different. And so that is my story. I hope that that helps somebody. And I see a question: does your mom take a prescription for a thyroid? She never did, and she never had any thyroid support until she hit menopause. So that is me. I believe I'm handing it back over to Bethany.
Yes. Oh, that was awesome. Both of you guys, thank you so much for sharing that. Okay. So I'm sitting here going, I want to wrap it up. And then at the very end, we're going to hear from my friend Hannah. She's going to talk about how to set up kids. If you have children, how to set them up for an amazing hormone life. But I want to wrap it up in case that doesn't apply to you first. And I want to make it so simple. I want to talk to myself when I was just getting started, because there's a lot of options and I feel like it can get overwhelming. So I'm going to try to break this down as clear as possible, and hopefully I don't bore you. Okay, so I said before, number one, the goal is to detox your home. Detox your bathroom, detox your kitchen, detox your whatever. Now, what that's going to mean is that you start being weird like us, okay? And you go, I really like my cinnamon candle, but instead of diffusing my cinnamon, diffusing, LOL. Instead of burning my diffuser, okay, so let me try this again. Instead of burning my candle, you diffuse. Oh, that is really funny. That is really funny. So I'm going to diffuse essential oils. Instead of burning toxins, I'm going to diffuse essential oils. Literally prego. It's so true. I'm like, and I've also been working like a lot today from very early morning all the way now. It's almost 9 o'clock and I haven't eaten anything in a while. So yeah, thank you guys. Okay, so that's what we're going to start with, is detoxing your home. I recommend getting started with a premium starter kit from Young Living. If you're not familiar with what that is, I'm going to just see if, I don't even know if you're going to be able to see this. It's like a photo of all of them. I have all the oils all over my house. I did not grab all these and bring them just to like hold them up because it wouldn't have even mattered. You can't smell them anyway. But this is your like base kit. They call it a premium starter kit because it's how most people start. And it has in it oils that you can diffuse that will smell really, really yummy. It has oils in it that will help you sleep. It will have oils in it that will help with a bug bite. It will have oils in it that will help you clean your kitchen. It's like the catch-all for a starter base of essential oils. The reason why essential oils are so powerful is because not only can they help you scent your non-toxic products if you want to make them yourself, they can also support your endocrine system. They can also support your hormones. So the premium starter kit it has oils in it that are really great for hormones. But those actually aren't what I'm going to suggest for you. Because I really want like to give you the best option, and the ones like Progestins Plus and Endoflex, like they mentioned, don't come in the starter kit. However, I think the starter kit is the best place. So that's what I would do, is with number one, with detoxing your home, get a premium starter kit and join our club. All right. Number two, support your body with hormone oils and supplements. I'm going to walk you through exactly what this is with a little photo. Okay. So, okay. On the very far left, there is a bottle that looks different than the others. And that's called Progestins Plus. And Progestins Plus is essential oils, but it also has progesterone micronized from wild yam. And wild yam is a natural progesterone. So this is how my third baby is even here today, because my progesterone levels were going down. And in the past, when I have miscarried, that was unfortunately what was happening, but I was able to use Progestins Plus to support my hormone levels. This is how I tested to know if it was working. I went to health1labs.com, health like your health, one, O-N-E, labs.com, and I ordered my own labs, because when I went to the doctor, they said your labs are fine, and I asked for a specific number, and they didn't know. They didn't have a specific number. They just said it seems fine. And they also said progesterone has nothing to do with fertility, which is just absolutely not true. You can look up on NAPRO doctor research, like, don't even get me started. So anyway, the progesterone labs that I ordered told me where I was exactly and let me know that I was actually way under the recommended. And that was just my doctor. There are a lot of doctors that take progesterone seriously. I just didn't have a provider that fit with my needs at that time. All right, so Progestins Plus is a serum that has that in there. There are a lot of people that will use it on their ankles and wrists in order to support their progesterone. That is not how I used it, but how I personally used it behind my closed door was a way that's not suggested on the bottle. And so if you're curious about how I use that, please message me on Facebook. Okay, next one over is Prenolone Plus, and that is a cream that also has that progesterone, that wild yam in it. It also has pregnenolone, which is a really amazing hormone supporting thing, substance. Pregnenolone is how other hormones are built. Pregnenolone is one of the builder blocks to create progesterone. So this is a cream that I use and I recommend. Next to that, now, and I'm telling you all these so you have a little bit of a foundation, but if you are in my situation and you're wanting to balance your hormones for fertility, I would honestly suggest 3, Progestins Plus, Scleressence, which is just in the middle, and then a supplement called Femigen that I'll pull up in a second. So those are my 3 that I'll suggest to you, but I'm going to walk through these so you know what they are. Clary Sage is a single oil that is, a single oil means that there's actually a clary sage plant, and that's how they harvest the clary sage essential oil. Really great for supporting natural, fluctuation of estrogen. So if you have too much estrogen, the clary sage is going to help regulate it. Regulator, that's what I'm trying to say. Regulate it, and if you have not enough, clary sage can help regulate it and bring it up. Scleressence, which is right beside that, is a blend of oils that contains clary sage. So I actually promote that, the Scleressence, over just clary sage because it has also fennel, also peppermint, also sage. Okay, next to that is a blue bottle. Think blue, think boy blue. We're just going with the color general gender stereotype here. Idaho Blue Spruce can help support the natural function and increase of testosterone. So if you have a spouse or a significant other who is male, who is struggling with testosterone, that's going to be one that you'll want them to have. EndoFlex is an endocrine system support. I really recommend this if you have a 2 p.m. crash, and that is connected with your hormones, a 2 p.m. crash. And then next is Dragon Time, a blend specifically formulated for people who have painful periods or horrible problems with their periods. Dragon Time is exactly what it says for your Dragon Time. All right, now I'm going to stop my screen share really quick and I'm going to pull up Femigen, because the 3 products that I would recommend to myself when I was just getting started was Femigen, Scleressence, and Progestins Plus. Those are the 3 things that I would add to your premium starter kit. So I'm going to pull up Femigen real quick. And Femigen is a supplement that has essential oils infused in it. Hold on. Femigen. Like I said, I'm not very good at multitasking. So I'm just going to get there. Okay. All right, and then I'm totally just going to like share my Google search with you because we're just gonna do it so I can go there quicker. Femigen capsules, they are basically, it's an herb infused with essential oils that is designed to support your female hormones from when you start your period all the way through menopause. This is like a catch-all, a yes answer. So if you want my direct suggestions, what I'm telling you to do is get your premium starter kit, add on Femigen, add on Progestins Plus, and add on Sclerescence. And those three are what you're going to want to use every single day. Okay, I hope that was helpful, and I hope it made sense. Yes, if they've already started their cycle, I would suggest Femigen for teens. Okay, awesome. And then let me explain how to use each of, well, I shared about Progestins Plus. You can roll it on your ankles and wrists. There's like 2 drops a day. I suggest Progestins Plus at night. So your routine will be 2 drops of Progestins Plus rolled on your ankles and wrists at night. Sclerescence to be used for the first 14 days of your cycle. So the day that you start your period all the way through the first 14 days if you have a 28-day cycle. Femigen every single day. So that's the routine. And then with essential oils, you're just going to want to use them all the time, like in every way possible. All right, with that, I was going to see if my friend Hannah Anderson is available to share how to set our children up for an amazing hormone life. There she is.
Hello. Hey guys, how to set your children up for an amazing hormone life. So Bethany, when she told us that we were going to be talking about hormones, I just wanted to bring up that a lot of times when we talk about hormones, we talk specifically about women and our reproductive hormones, which is awesome because that is a major factor in our lives. But the reality is that the issues that a lot of us face hormonally started probably those disruptors. We were exposed to those disruptors back when we were kids, and then all the way through our childhood and teen years and adulthood. So in order to protect your kids or your future kids from dealing with these same things, you want to start thinking about this now. You want to start thinking about your kids' hormonal health now, while they're still babies, while they're kids, while they're teens. Hormones control so many different things in your body. It's not just reproductive. So it's not just like, start thinking about your kids' hormones when they're 11 and start going through puberty. It's actually from the womb when hormones begin. Hormones are what regulate the baby's growth in the womb anyway, so you want to do the best, or I should say, I want to do the best I can to protect my kids from disruptors in products in the home. So early exposure to food and cleaning products and body products that have endocrine disruptors in them can affect children's physical growth, their emotional health, and then that's obviously going to eventually affect their behavior. We're going to see more acting out at home. I say at home because we're all stuck at home with our kids right now. So we'll start seeing that affect their behavior. So anyway, we actually, one of the things that's really interesting if you start looking into this is that we are seeing more kids experiencing puberty at young ages, younger and younger ages, and also thyroid issues. And then we all know that depression and anxiety has also been skyrocketing among kids. So I feel like there's a lot of evidence that kids are dealing with hormonal imbalance at an earlier age. So okay, so how do we protect our kids from this? I'm just going to really quick go through like my top things that I would do. And a lot of them go with what Bethany was saying. So what products to get rid of and what to switch them out with. All cleaners. I personally just got rid of all of my cleaners and replaced them with Thieves household cleaner because it is so awesome and you can use it all over your house. There's no reason to make it more complicated than it needs to be. Bethany touched on candles. Candles are a big factor, especially like this time of year. We all love burning candles and like pine and pumpkin spice and all of that. Just say no to candles and diffuse instead. Some of my favorites are pine, orange, Northern Lights, black spruce, cinnamon, clove, nutmeg. With all of those options that we have, you can make some of the yummiest smelling diffuser blends that you can imagine, so much better than candles. And like, yeah, I don't even know. I used to be like a huge candle person, but diffusing is like my favorite thing now. So another thing is kids shampoos, soaps, lotions, things like that. Super easy to switch out with the Kids Sense line in Young Living, or you can make your own, like Bethany was saying, and you can add oils into that to support their hormones. But just it's surprising how many kids' body products actually contain really damaging chemicals. So that's something you want to be on the lookout for. And then baby wipes is the last one, which is horrible because it's like, it's so sensitive, such a sensitive area, obviously, that you're using baby wipes on mostly. And they have some really damaging ingredients in them. So I personally love Seedlings, Young Living Seedlings wipes. I think they're fantastic. And I have a baby with extremely sensitive skin, and her skin just loves the Seedlings wipes. So I highly recommend those. Okay, so as far as oils to support hormones in kids, if you have a medical provider that you trust and work with regularly, I would say definitely, you can run these by your medical provider, but I would say Endoflex is awesome for kids. I actually use it, Endoflex, on my almost 2-year-old, and she, for tantrums, and when we're having just harder days, I put it, I just like a teeny little bit on her throat, and it really actually helps her a lot. So Endoflex I would use, obviously before kids hit puberty. You don't need to be doing anything like Progestins Plus or any of that kind of stuff, but Endoflex is an awesome one to use. Also, any of the emotional oils do a great job supporting the brain and stabilizing hormones. So my personal favorites for kids are Release, Harmony, and Joy. Those are my 3 that I use on my kids a lot for days that they're just really struggling emotionally. So Endoflex, Release, Harmony, and Joy would be my top ones for kiddos in terms of hormone and emotional support. So okay, I didn't look at the comments at all. Bethany, are you answering these things that I didn't see?
Yeah, they all look great. Basically a lot of yes, and then one question.
Okay, great.
About Endoflex.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'm good. That's all I had.
Very cool. That was very insightful. And I just think it's so cool. I remember when I was a kid, my mom would do laundry, and we didn't know. I say we also, like, my mom didn't know, and she's here we would, do the dryer sheets and the fabric softener and all that. And I started associating that smell with like, oh, productive. And it feels so good to be like, oh, the laundry's done. And I smell that now. And I'm like, wow, it's so cool that my kids are like not having that, like they smell frankincense and they're like, oh, cool. They have positive, like actual oils and actual, it's so cool. I'm just so pumped for, the future of my kids. Okay. My mom goes, it's true. All right. So, I hope that this was comprehensive. I know that it's an overwhelming topic. When you join our team, but no, seriously, when you like get oils, you become a part of our team, and that's like our little family. And we have a Facebook group, and in that Facebook group, there's a units tab where there's like learning units. And in that tab, there's a whole unit on hormones. We'll be adding this video to that as well. It's just kind of like accumulative information. And in there, just ask questions in that group. Ask questions to the person who invited you to this call. You'll just want to like get as much information as you need from it. We're just here to walk with you. It's not like oh, cool, you got something, now we're going to forget you forever. No, it's like you're with us. We're going to help you. We're going to walk with you. So, I'm going to wait a minute. You guys feel free to hop off. There was a question that was asked privately to me about progesterone level. I don't know if that was intentional, so I'm not going to read it out loud, but I did reply and asked about a specific progesterone level. So I'm going to end the recording, and I'm going to stay on Zoom so we can get that question answered if you want. But the rest of you, thank you so much for hopping on. We'll see you next week here because we have a great class. Oh, perfect. I see your comments. We have a great class coming up next week, which is all about sinuses and lungs. And this time of year, you will not want to miss it because who doesn't need that information? So same time, same place. See you here next week.